Severance arguably gave us one of the best episodes in the entirety of the series with episode 6 of season 2. And just like Mark, when the episode concluded, I was genuinely wiping away the tears in my eyes because it was just beautiful. Whilst the episode pulled on our heartstrings and quite literally broke it at the same time, the ending of the episode with Mark waking up showed that things are definitely going to be different moving forward. Especially with him going to the place in his mind which was filled with every emotion that he could have possibly experienced. With the complex between Mark and Helly most likely arriving, them both may be searching for exports, and Dylan potentially being left out on his own, and even the theory around it being a solo Harmony Cobel episode, which I kinda hope it is. I wanted to give my theories and predictions on what I think will happen in the next episode, so let's get into it. Here is Severance Season 2 Episode 8 Theories Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Let's first start by exploring the theory about Harmony Cobel returning and having a solo episode. One thing that I'm genuinely crying out for at the moment is Harmony Cobel to be back on our screens. She's a character that I never thought I'd be yearning for more of, considering how she was in the first season of the show. But I just feel like this time round, there's something about her which shows that she's going to be important to the fight that's going towards Lumen. There are a few theories going around at the moment that the next episode could potentially be entirely set within the town that Harmony Cobel grew up in. The place that she could well have been driving to and ended up driving away from in episode 2, Salt's Neck. The seed was planted for this location when she went to drive there at the start of the season, and I feel the next time we do see Harmony Cobel, it will be with her being in that very environment. As she officially turned her back on Lumen and Kia when she walked away from Helly in episode 3 and got in her car and drove off. This makes me think that the destination that she was heading towards was the one that she couldn't quite bring herself to drive to earlier on. The synopsis for the next episode is Discoveries Are Made. It's short, sweet, and simple, which I think could be leaning into the fact that the characters could well be finding things out in the episode, and it could be like some kind of self-realization for Harmony with the way that she's lived her life, and how she's almost now free of the cult-like environment. Or the synopsis could be directed towards us, and it's as if we're going to be making the discoveries and learning new things about the characters. One of the most mysterious people in the entirety of the show is Harmony Cobel, and with us potentially seeing her at the location where she grew up before her mother died, it could transport her mind back to that very time period, and we could learn about how she came to be the person that she was in the present day. I would have originally thought that if Harmony got an episode, we would have got some kind of flashback feature, but with episode 7 being heavily focused on flashbacks, I no longer think that's going to be the case. I think it could almost be like Harmony seeing the younger version of herself within herself, and her mind almost reliving the trauma that she endured following her mother's death. The episode is titled Sweet Vitriol, and vitriol is described as bitter criticism or malice. So I wonder if Harmony is reliving her past and seeing the younger version of herself as she navigates the town that she used to call home, if she's going to be criticizing herself and the decisions that she made over the years. It seems like Lumen got their hands on Harmony through her being at the orphanage, and they then moved her on to the Myrtlegan School for Girls. During this episode, we could even find out more about that institution, something that I think would be valuable. All we really know is that it's said to be a place where children go and pretty much get indoctrinated into learning and believing in the Kia ways. And with Harmony being at the orphanage and being vulnerable due to the grief that she was suffering, a sense of togetherness, community, and faith was what probably made her more susceptible to the system. So I'm hoping we're going to see that part of Harmony's life being explored. The photo that was on Apple TV Plus's platform for the next episode is actually of Lumen in the snow, and I feel with it being the sole focal point and the roads being empty, if the episode is solely focused on Harmony Cobel, or if it at least has a heavy feature, I feel it's pretty symbolic of Harmony's journey to Lumen and the path that she traveled to get there. When it comes to when this episode is set, I feel like the episode could be set at around the same time as episode 7, whilst Mark's in his passed out reintegrated state, and what we're seeing with Harmony could be happening alongside it. If that is the case, I feel like it could end with Harmony receiving a phone call off of Devon, as we know that she was interested in calling Harmony to see if she could help her with Mark, but we never found out if she did. But with us seeing a phone call, it would give us the confirmation. This could be the thing that marks the end of Harmony's time in Salt's Neck, and it could bring her back with a newfound purpose and the desire to bring down the company that she devoted her life to, but ultimately threw her to the side and made her feel worthless. It's an avenue of the show that I'd love to see explored. Now let's look at what could happen if a Harmony episode isn't the case. Mark and Helly's quest to exports. Something that was shown to us a couple of episodes back was Dylan telling Helly and Mark where the directions to the exports hallway was, and that they were on the back of the poster. Dylan obviously removed himself from the situation because he didn't want his privileges to be taken away. Privileges that the other two didn't know about and will most likely cause a rift in the future if they do find out. But with the location of the directions being shared, I think with Mark waking up and going back to work, we're gonna see himself and Helly retrieving the directions and making their way to the exports hallway with the hopes of going down the elevator and finding Gemma. One thing that we learned about the exports hallway is that when you're walking through it, you're the Innie version of yourself, as we saw when Gemma went there and was Miss Casey. And then, once she went down to the actual floor, she awoke in the form of her Outie, Gemma. If Mark and Helly go searching for Gemma and manage to get to the hallway, I feel we could see the transformation occur when they eventually go down the elevator, which could throw a real spanner in the works for Mark. Both Innie and Outie Mark have the same intentions, rescuing Gemma, and now that he's fully reintegrated, that means that both sets of memories will be accessible. So going down the elevator won't make a difference to him because he'll know what he's doing no matter what. But if Helly steps in that elevator, she'll awake as Helena, which will cause the plan to go south very quickly. Helena will know why they're there and that Mark has managed to find his way to being within touching distance of his wife, and that's something that she won't want because of the need for the completion of Cold Harbor, the greatest achievement the planet has ever seen. But also because she has a crush on Mark and actually wants him all to herself, as he's the only person that she's had a sense of intimacy with. So if he does end up going with Helly, then it could cause even more problems and be curtains on the plan of rescuing Gemma. Or alternatively, if Helly goes and looks for the hallway herself, which was kind of insinuated with the way that she said that she'd go and get the directions. I think if her Outie takes a hold when she lands there, she'll know what Helly is up to and it'll give Drummond, Milchick and herself the heads up that MDR are onto exports and are getting closer to Gemma. Is Helena/Helly pregnant? One thing that I just can't shake from the previous episode is that Helly could well be pregnant. In passing, Dr. Mauer said to Gemma that Mark had moved on and that he had a daughter with somebody else because Gemma had been gone for so long. At first, I obviously knew that it was a lie, but now I can't help but think if Mark has gotten Helena pregnant from their time together in episode 4 when they were in the tents at the Outie. It's difficult to know how much time has truly passed since the Outie, but I do wonder if Dr. Mauer is the Doctor of Lumen. What's to say that he hasn't seen that Helena is pregnant, and he said that specific line because it's something that could well be on the cusp of being the truth. Because if Helena is pregnant, then he wouldn't be too far off with what he said to Gemma. If that is the case, then that will be something that will be utterly heartbreaking for Gemma, because Mark and her so desperately wanted a child together and it was the very thing that they were trying for. The conflict of Innie versus Outie Mark. A complex that I think could well be on the horizon is between Mark S and Helly and Mark Scout and Gemma. We've seen that these two different personalities that were inside of Mark were each in love with two completely different women. However, now with both the Innie and Outie's memories being merged together as one, and it feeling like episode 7 was the Innie having Mark's Outie's memories shown to him, I wonder where that's gonna leave Helly in all of this. The whole dilemma of what an Innie's life is worth and if it's valuable is something that's been explored a lot in this season and we've spoken about a lot too. And Helly genuinely cares for Mark more than she cares about anything else. So much so that we saw that they shared vessels in episode 6, a decision that she made and owned. But with Mark wanting to find his wife and us seeing just how in love he was with her in the most recent episode, that's gonna leave Helly without the person that she's grown to be close to if he does rescue her. So I wonder if Mark's going to have some kind of inner conflict about what to do and how he goes about doing it, because he's only going to be able to be with one of the girls and he's in love with the both of them. As per usual, there are so many different directions that the next episode could go in, but based on what's happened so far, I feel like these are a few of the main things that I think could be on the horizon. So, there you have it, Severance Season 2 Episode 8 Theories Explained. If you want to see more videos on Severance, then click on the card in the top corner. There'll be a playlist there. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. What do you think will happen next? Share your thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for tuning into the video and I'll see you in the next one.